To Austria now, where for the first time since the Second World War, a far-right party has come top in the country's general election. Projected results give the Freedom Party just over 29% of the vote, more than 2 points ahead of the ruling Austrian People's Party on 26.5%, with the Social Democrats in third. But this isn't enough for the Freedom Party to secure an outright majority, with all the main parties ruling out any coalition, which includes the FPÖ leader Herbert Kickl. Austria's president has called for negotiations in order to find a compromise. Fears of the Conservatives forming a coalition with the Freedom Party led to a small group of protesters demonstrating outside the Parliament building in Vienna, carrying anti-Nazi banners. Our correspondent Bethany Bell is in Vienna, where she says all the party leaders face difficult choices.
It means a very complicated situation for Austria's political parties. The Freedom Party has said it wants to have the chancellorship. It says it is ready to speak to all parties, but the question is whether all parties are willing to speak to the Freedom Party. Mr. Kickl, the leader of the Freedom Party, is a very divisive figure, and all of the other parties who will be in the next parliament have said they don't want to form a coalition government that is led by Mr. Kickl. The Conservatives have suggested they could be open to an alliance with the Freedom Party, but not with Mr. Kickl. Mr. Kickl, though, so far has said very strongly that he wants to be the next Chancellor of Austria. He wants to be, in his words, a Volkskanzler, a people's chancellor. And that's a phrase that worries some Austrians because it was used to describe Adolf Hitler in the 1930s.
And what does the Freedom Party want? What are their policies? What is their platform?
Their big themes that came up in the election campaign were concerns about rising prices in Austria, about the economy, and most crucially, migration. Mr. Kickl has said he wants to build Fortress Austria to keep out migrants. And this has been a very, very big theme for them. Also, he's expressed concerns about the state of Austria's neutrality. He's been very critical of EU sanctions on Russia over the war in Ukraine. And these are things that have worried some of the other parties in Austria.
And Bethany, if the Freedom Party is going to be excluded, is it possible to see some sort of compromise coalition involving the other parties? And what does that do to those who did support the Freedom Party?
It's a very complicated situation. There are scenarios which other coalitions could be possible, potentially between the Conservatives and the Social Democrats, or a three-party coalition with the Conservatives, the Social Democrats, and one of the smaller parties such as the Greens and the Neos. But it would create a situation, one political analyst told me, where it would just likely to strengthen the Freedom Party even more because it would increase their sense of being excluded by the system.